he wasn't fast enough. A bullet caught him in the side. He dropped to one knee, and then she appeared. Wen Qing, heels clicking through death, eyes wild with fear. She dragged him into a side alley, pressed her hands against the wound. "Who sent them?" he gasped. She hesitated. Then, whispered, "The man who paid me to watch you." The room was drowning in red neon. Thick smoke curled around the stage like ghosts that never left. Wen Qing stood beneath the spotlight, her silhouette dripping in silk and sorrow. She sang not with her lips, but with her wounds. Each note cut deeper. Each lyric was a lie she told herself. Around her, men drank. Women laughed. The world moved. But inside her, silence. She finished the song, and the room erupted in applause. Except for one man. He just stared. His hair was snow-white, wild yet sharp. A cruel contrast to the darkness around him. His eyes unreadable, like a man who had watched too many people die. Wen Qing met his gaze. He didn't blink. Didn't smile. Didn't clap. She stepped off the stage, heels clicking like whispers on marble. She passed him. "Didn't like the song," she murmured. He took a slow drag of his cigarette. "You weren't singing for anyone." In the dressing room mirror, her reflection looked like someone else, someone tired of pretending. She touched the tiny gold locket on her neck, her brother's. It never opened anymore. The white-haired man was still there. Watching. Drinking. Waiting for something. So was she. That night, sleep dragged her back into the fire. She was 10 again. Screaming. Her brother's blood soaked through her palms. "Don't forget the wolf," he gasped. She turned and saw the tattoo. A snarling wolf inked into a killer's back as he walked away. Her tears drowned in flame. She woke up shaking. The perfume she always wore, peony and smoke, hung in the air like a ghost. Far across the city, Zhen sat alone in his apartment. Shirtless. Quiet. Alone. A single bullet scar stretched across his ribs. On his back, lit by a flickering street lamp through cracked blinds, the same wolf tattoo. He ran his fingers through his white hair and whispered, "I should have never come back." And somewhere, a black car waited outside the club, windows tinted like secrets. Inside, Wen Qing sat with her legs crossed, cigarette burning between her fingers, eyes hard. Across from her, Mr. He, suit sharp, voice colder than steel. "Get close to him," he said. "Make him trust you. Then call me." She didn't blink, didn't flinch. "And if I don't?" He smiled. "Then your brother really died for nothing." Wen Qing returned to the club like nothing happened, but inside, her hands were trembling. She found him again, leaning against the bar. White hair glowing under the neon. "You're here again," she said, voice smooth like liquor. "You sing like you're already dead," he replied. She stepped closer. Close enough to smell danger. "Good. Then I won't flinch when you kill me." Night after night, the club burned with red light and whispered sins. And every night, their eyes found each other. She would sing. He would watch. That night, she sang like she was saying goodbye. Like she knew something he didn't. And for the first time, he closed his eyes. After the show, he vanished into the night. She found him standing under a flickering street lamp in the alley behind the club, the cold wind blowing through his white hair. "Don't go yet," she whispered, heels clicking against wet pavement. He didn't turn around. He just said, "You should stay away from me." She took a step closer anyway. The rain came without warning. Cold. Heavy. Drowning the alley in silver. He looked at her for the first time like he saw her, not the singer, not the spy. Just a woman. Fragile. Tired. Real. She reached for him. He didn't stop her. Their lips met, desperate, reckless, doomed. Like two people who didn't care if the world ended right there. Her apartment smelled of wine and regret. Clothes fell to the floor. Nails on skin. Breathless silence between every kiss. They touched like people who didn't believe in tomorrow. But afterward, she sat on the edge of the bed, staring at the wolf tattoo on his back. He slept beside her. Peaceful. Unaware. And her heart screamed, "It's him." She remembered her brother's blood. The wolf tattoo walking away. His voice trembling, "Wen Qing, don't forget." And now, the same mark burned inches from her hand. She reached out to touch it, but pulled back. Her fingers shook. She couldn't tell him. Not yet. Not tonight. Morning light spilled through broken blinds. He stood shirtless in her kitchen, making tea. She asked softly, "Have you ever killed someone who didn't deserve it?" He didn't look up. "Once," he said. "And I never forgave myself." For a moment, they just stood there, two damaged souls pretending they were whole. He asked her where she came from. She lied. Orphanage in Suzhou. No family. Just music. He nodded like he believed her. Or maybe he didn't want the truth. She kissed him before the silence got too loud. And once again, they made love with shadows in their mouths. That evening, she told a joke. Something dumb and meaningless. He laughed. Not a smirk. Not a scoff. A real laugh. Quiet. Beautiful. She looked at him in awe, like she'd just seen color for the first time. And in that fragile moment, she wanted to forgive him. Even if he didn't know what he'd done. He waited for her in the shadows behind the club. Same place they met before. "You're getting too close, mister," he said. She lit a cigarette with trembling fingers. "You told me to get close." He smiled with wolfish teeth. "Not close enough to forget why you're here." Then he whispered her brother's name and left her shaking in the dark. She cooked for him that night, rice, pork, and silence. Zhen sat at her small table, watching her hands move like poetry. "Smells like something I lost," he said. She didn't reply, but when their fingers brushed reaching for a bowl, the stillness between them shattered, fragile and warm. It almost felt like a home neither of them ever had. She stood by the stove, but her mind was in the past. Her brother's chest, rising and falling slower, blood pooling, voice fading. Wen Qing, wolf tattoo. Li. Zha. She dropped the spoon. Soup splashed. Her heart nearly exploded. The name. The tattoo. The truth. He was the one. She left him asleep in bed and ran barefoot through the city, wearing nothing but a coat and grief. At the riverbank, she collapsed, shaking. Tears, rain, silence. She pulled the tiny perfume bottle from her pocket, her brother's last gift. She opened it, letting the scent of peonies and smoke mix with the cold wind. "Why him?" she whispered into the night. Zhen watched her from the doorway the next night. She was quiet. Distant. "Something's wrong," he said. She turned away. "Some things are better left unsaid. I've killed people, Qing. But I've never lied to someone I care about." She flinched and walked out without looking back. That same night, he followed her. Across rain-washed alleys, past red light signs. He saw her meet Mr. He behind a noodle shop. Saw her bow her head. Saw her take money. And in that moment, he realized, she was never just a singer. But why did it still hurt so much? He waited for her in her apartment, arms crossed, breath heavy. "Who is he?" he asked. "What are you doing with him?" She stayed by the window, city lights blinking across her pale skin. "Some songs," she whispered, "can never be sung." He didn't push. He just left, and her tears fell like glass breaking inside her. Back in his flat, Zhen poured himself a drink with shaking hands. The pain wasn't anger, it was betrayal wrapped in silence. He stared at the mirror, at the wolf tattoo on his back, at the man he thought he'd buried. She was the first good thing in years. And now, she was poisoned too. The deal was broken. The girl had gone soft. The killer had disappeared. He no longer needed patience. He made a call. Kill him tonight. Outside the club, 2 black cars rolled down the street like death with headlights. And Zhen was already waiting. Bullets tore through the night like thunder. Zhen moved like a shadow, one gun, no backup, no mercy. Blood splattered on wet pavement. A body hit the wall. Another hit the ground. But he wasn't fast enough. A bullet caught him in the side. He dropped to one knee, and then she appeared. Wen Qing, heels clicking through death, eyes wild with fear. She dragged him into a side alley, pressed her hands against the wound. Who sent them? He gasped. She hesitated. Then, whispered, the man who paid me to watch you. His eyes widened. You. She nodded, choking back tears. I didn't know it was you. Not until I saw the tattoo. He didn't speak. Didn't blink. Just stared at her with eyes darker than blood. The silence between them screamed louder than any bullet. Say something, she begged. But he turned his face away, and passed out in her arms. She stitched his wound by candlelight. Stayed up all night watching him breathe. But by morning, the bed was empty. His scent gone. His warmth stolen. On the pillow, she found a single cigarette, unlit. And that was his answer. Club Orchid was raided the next day. Police swarmed the neon-lit Sin Palace like ants on a corpse. The red lights went out. The singers scattered. Wen Qing stood on the stage one last time, whispering a song that never made it past her lips. She left with nothing, not even her heels. She searched the city like a ghost chasing smoke. Hospitals, motels, underground clinics. No sign. The only trace was a rumor, a white-haired man bleeding in a cab outside the docks. She followed it. But the wind gave no answers. She knelt before the grave with bare knees and hollow eyes. Set a single white peony down. Lit a cigarette with shaking hands. I almost loved your killer, she whispered. Almost. The wind didn't judge. The stone didn't reply. Only her silence screamed. He didn't disappear. He watched. From rooftops. From shadows. From alleyways near her old club. Zhen bled in silence while the city moved on. But his eyes always found her. She walked slower now. Smoked more. Smiled less. He had ruined her. And still, he couldn't let her go. He wanted a clean ending. He spread the word. Wen Qing had double-crossed him. A bounty. A trap. The bait. Her brother's old perfume left on a windowsill like a whisper from the dead. She took it. He watched her. And waited for the bullet to come. The assassin fired from the rooftop, but the bullet never reached her. Zhen tackled her to the ground, blood exploding from his shoulder. They rolled through shattered glass. Sirens in the distance. Chaos in their bones. Why? She screamed through tears. Because I don't want to kill anymore, he whispered. They ran like ghosts. Blooded and breathless. Through alleys, over fences, into forgotten tunnels under the city. One flashlight behind them. Then 2. Then 10. But every time she stumbled, he pulled her up. And every time he groaned in pain, she kissed his hand. They were no longer enemies, just 2 broken people trying to outrun fate. A decaying warehouse at the edge of the river. Dust. Rust. Silence. She stitched his wound again, slower this time. You killed him, didn't you? She asked. He nodded. He was just a boy, she said, voice cracked. So was I, he replied. And they made me choose. She sat beside him all night. Not speaking. Just breathing. In the morning, he opened his eyes and found her sleeping against his chest. Her fingers clutched the perfume bottle like a heartbeat. He whispered, I don't deserve this. She whispered back, I don't care. They returned to the club once more, just ruins now. She stood on the broken stage. He sat where he always Saturday. No audience. No lights. Just her voice. She sang one final song. One filled with pain, forgiveness, and fire. And this time, he clapped. Outside, red neon buzzed faintly through cracked glass. They stood beneath it, side by side, holding hands that had once held weapons. No promises. No future. Just this moment. Will they find us? She asked. He lit a cigarette and smiled. Let them try. The screen faded to black.